What's up guys, it's Selka and welcome to this weekly analysis. So today we're gonna watch for cryptos, index and commodities as well as stocks at the end like I usually do. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Alright, so for Bitcoin, I'm expecting this top to be broken soon. I'm still waiting for it. I think this will probably go down, complete a three-wave correction right there, before going up and breaking the top, and this will happen before the actual drop that we're looking for to match this impulse down. See, we have an impulse down, we have a three-wave correction, then we'll get another impulse down to retest these low. All right, so the trade for the week will probably to look for sells when the top will be broken and try to take the trade for this low. All right, so that's the goal. And why I'm waiting for the breakout of the top is simply because, as you can see right there, there's a regular flat right there. This pattern happens a lot. You see that in the up move, so uptrend. You have this one in the uptrend as well. You have this one which is a complex one, but it's still a regular flat. You see how every time we break those top, so if it's in the uptrend we break the low, if it's in downtrend you break the top, and simply this happens most of the time compared to the contracting flat, and you don't want to be in the trade if it's meant to go up higher. So that's why we're gonna wait for the drop in the smaller time frame, then go back up, complete the regular flat, then look for sells right there. So if you're wondering what is a sell setup, it's a down impulse and a smaller correction, because when you take these setups, you know that after a correction you get another impulse, so you get the trade for that impulse and you get potentially the start of the impulse for the bigger structure. And that's why this is a trade setup. This is what you're trying to get into, look for when everything is confirmed in the bigger structure. So when this top will be broken, I will be looking for something like this, unless you have a big impulse and a clean flag like this would say. I'm not trading the contracting, I'm not interested. I will be waiting for the breakout of the top. Alright, so now Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, you can see it broke the top. So right there you have the impulse, a correction, then it broke the top, and from that point this can go down at any time. All right, so be careful, this can go down at any time. I think that we will be waiting for Bitcoin to come down to break the top before going down. So it will be the same thing for Ethereum. We can have literally a last push up, something like this, before getting the drop. So Ethereum, same thing, we're gonna retest this low right there. I think that's what will be happening probably this week. If not, that's next week, but this is the next trade. Matic, so Matic in the bigger time frame, quickly a reminder that we're looking for an up move and then a drop to complete this time a running flat, which is an impulse, a correction, then we're looking for another impulse before the drop. All right, and this will complete a three-wave correction, so 1 2 3 before a drop, because we have an impulse before it. So a down impulse, as you can see right there. So right there you had the down impulse. So because of that down impulse, we will probably get another down impulse afterwards. So I'm just waiting for those move in the bigger time frame. Now it doesn't mean that this will go up right now. This can be a little setup for a drop. So this can literally be in a correction for a drop. All right, so something like this, probably break the top one more time, then drop a correction before having the up move that we're looking for. So it can literally do something like this, and that's why you got to be careful unless you have a really good setup, so something like this, or even a regular flat or a running flat, so a correction that we know about, so something like this. You can try it out, otherwise you got to be careful because this can go like this at any time. Now let's check out BNB. Like we said in the last analysis, we said that this should go up, all right, and complete a regular flat before going down to retest this low. All right, so in the bigger time frame, in the smaller time frame, this is what we're looking for, retest this low, and this could be a true wave correction to retest the low, which is the regular flat I talked about for Bitcoin and Ethereum. You see how it broke the top, so it's a regular flat, and this should come back down and retest the low. Now in the bigger structure, I'm waiting for a retest of this low, so this could be the start of the setup. So this could be the start of this drop that will break this low, and that's why this could be a great opportunity this week. So I'm gonna say right now, most of these crypto are looking bearish in the short term, but bullish afterwards. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's coming in the next weeks. So stick to this weekly analysis, you'll find out pretty interesting stuff. Now Link to me, this is a small correction for a drop that will probably break this low. All right, so long term we're looking for this drop, so in the bigger structure. Now this could be the start, the setup to break this low before having an up move. All right, so the up move could be an up move, a new structure, so something new that will lead to a new structure, new correction, for example, or simply a new trend. We'll see that. It's too early to say, but now let's just focus on this small drop. Now Hex, last episode I said that this should come for a new trend, so come up, make a new trend. All right, it's an up move, but I think this up move is meant to go down because of that move that I didn't see in the last weekly analysis. So I was not sure of this move. I didn't see it, and because of that I think this will go down for a running flat right there, then come back up for this one, then come back down. All right, so this move is a little bit more complex. This should go back down like this, come back up, complete this pattern with this one, so 1 2 3, and then come back down, and this will be a running flat. So there's a running flat right there, so 1 2 3 for another drop that should be happening, and all this move will be part of the correction of this up move. So another up move, then a drop. This is where we talk about fractal, we talk about correction within the correction, and yeah, that's simply a running flat right there, but could be part of a bigger running flat right there, see, before the actual drop. So it does happen sometimes, complex structure like this, you got to get used to it, but it's pretty easy to understand and pretty interesting in terms of impulses, as you can get up move, down move, and up move again, and maybe even down move again. So it's many trades, it's interesting patterns, and we'll get to see that. So let's just focus on the drop for now. XMR, like I said in my last video, this is the cleanest of all. We were somewhere in there, and I said this should come up and break the top. So of course I was expecting this to drop, break the low, complete a regular flat, which is a 3-wave correction, before going up to break the top. Now unlucky, this is looking like a contracting. All right, so it's a contracting, one of those rare times when it happens. It doesn't really happen a lot, but sometimes it does. This is a rare case scenario where it happened, it didn't break this low, and because of that it looks like we're going up and breaking this top again. So of course these type of setups are better to trade off the bottom, so it's better to see this as a regular flat and try to get it from the bottom. But yeah, now it's kind of too late, and even when I posted the video saying that this should go up from this point, it was also a little bit too late. It's harder to manage the trade, to manage the risk, and because of that you gotta let it go, and when it breaks the top you gotta be careful, because this can go back down at any time and complete this 3-wave correction, which is a regular flat. So you'll hear a lot about regular flats in this video. It's normal, this is the correction that happens a lot, and we're not done seeing it. So for EGLD, this one is, you had this correction, so in the bigger structure you have this correction, it came to break the low, so now it's done. I think this is a correction either a correction on its own or a running flat with this one. So let's see this pattern, because this one is interesting. So you got an up move right there, you got a drop, correction, drop. So I think this can go up like this and complete this running flat before going down, another push down. All right, so at any time you can see this. Now seeing how this structure is developing, it's interesting to take the buy, as this is an opportunity to even have a trend reversal. So at any moment you break this top and you confirm that it's not a running, so it's not a correction to go down, to go deeper. All right, so you confirm that it's not this scenario, and you just start a new uptrend. So that's why looking for buy setups right there is super interesting. This looks like a small buy, but you got to keep in mind that with Bitcoin this can go down at any time. So even though you get another up move, this can go down. But looking for buys in this scenario is perfect, as you're looking for at least this, all right, at least this move, and at best it can simply go up for a new trend, so makes correction and go up for a new trend. And that's why looking for buys is interesting for EGLD. Now DOT is looking upside again. This one is interesting, like I said in the last week, with the crawling and the move that is looking like it's losing in momentum. So you're in this kind of a sideways move, and because of that, see that sideways, and because of that this can go up and have literally a trend reversal. You're just looking for the confirmation that this will be doing that. So as of right now I only see an impulse, so be careful. This can bring a true wave correction, come down and then retest this low like it did right there. You see you have an impulse, correction, come up, break the top, regular flat, then come back down. So it can be you can be in this correction probably, and if not, you'll see an impulse and a clean flag, and this is where you look for buys. You try it out, break even in there. If it goes down, you're not in the trade anymore. If it goes up, then you're in. So that's why you're looking for those setup. So basically for DOT, look for buy. All right, be careful of the Bitcoin drop, but look for buy setups for DOT. So DOGE, bigger structure, there it is, looking to retest this low. And like I said in my last video, this is a regular flat that will lead to break this low. So it's completed for the people that took it. It was an interesting trade to trade this one, this DOGE regular flat from the top. So of course I made the video, we were I think around there or somewhere, but yeah, this is probably going to keep dropping, probably with this sell, keep dropping and break this low eventually. So still looking for sells right there until we break the low, and then it will probably be a buy, so the start of a new trend and a buy. So this will probably be a buy when this low is broken. Now Litecoin. So Litecoin, this is to me a correction, and probably that you'll get something like this and that after. So it's probably going to make a true wave correction right there before having another drop and another up move, and then from that point this should come down and retest the low. So I'm seeing this as a correction, but there is a scenario when this is not a correction and it starts an actual up move of that. So depending on the impulse we'll get right there, depending on this impulse, it could change the structure in the bigger time frame. All right, so if you go on daily, this looks like a correction for now, but if you see that true wave correction, so that regular going up and having a strong impulse, then this can not be a correction anymore and the start of a new trend where you'll be expecting a correction for another up. So we'll wait to see for that big impulse, as if we get it, then it could change the bigger time frame. But right now look for sells as long as this top is not broken. So as long as this top is not broken, I would look for sells. Now AVAX, bigger time frame, you got it right there, looking for an up move and then a down move. Now the reason why is, let me put the 4 hour, the reason why is because of this impulse. So this impulse right there makes me think that this is part of an impulse. This is a correction, all right, a 3-wave correction of that impulse. Then you'll expect another impulse and complete this pattern, this 3-wave correction, which is a running flat. So running again is when you break the low of the impulse, but you will not break the top of it, and that's why I'm expecting an up move that will not break this top and then a drop. So for AVAX, up move, then drop and retest this low. So for SNP, I'm seeing all this move as a correction, and it should come and retest the low. So the target is to come and retest the low. Now you know the direction, you're only waiting for a sell setup, and this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say sell setup. So this is perfect to come and retest the low. So having this setup is a perfect opportunity to come and retest the low, and this is exactly what I say when I say sell setup. What I mean is something that looks like this. So having a drop and having a range, a correction that looks like this, and taking this will probably lead to break the low, and it will be a perfect opportunity. All right, so unless you see a big up move or a range like this should probably come and break the low, unless you see that. All right, so that's what I'm talking when I say sell setup. So there is even many strategy on getting into that trade. There is people that put a limit order under the setup, or people that take it from the top. In both cases, I'll be talking about it in a video where I talk about trading strategy, risk management, and all you can adopt regarding the wave theory. But right now, just keep in mind this is a perfect setup, and this should come and retest the low. So for Nasdaq, this one is not as good, but looks kind of good. You have this impulse. So let me zoom in, it will be better. So right there, the target is just like SNP. You will probably come and retest the low. Now you have an impulse, you have a slow move like this, then another move up. Whenever we will break this top, it will complete a regular flat, and this regular flat should be a correction to come and retest the low. So I'm only waiting for this to come and break this top, and when it will happen, you'll be looking for the drop. So this one is also clean and should go down. DXY, this one is probably made a running flat. So let me see, you have an impulse, you have a correction right there, another impulse to come down. So you have this move, it's probably an expanding flat. All right, so it's probably an expanding flat, and this will probably come and retest the low. So if it's not an expanding flat, then it's a regular flat like this, right? It's a little bit hard to tell because it's a bit messy, but this should come and retest the low, and whenever the low will be tagged again, you're looking for the bigger structure, an up move that should be a correction in the bigger structure. So there should be an up move that will be slowly going up, something like this, before having another drop. So this move is losing in momentum. You're starting to crawl, and because of that, you'll probably have a bigger correction and then a drop. So USOIL, looking for the drop in the bigger time frame. Now let me check the smaller one, and this is also a good opportunity, a good sell setup to come and retest the low. So look for sell. This is kind of good, but it's really not as good as S&P, for example. But this is, to me, a sell setup. This should come and retest the low. Now gold, like I said, in the bigger time frame, super important. We're looking to come and retest the top. So the goal is to come and retest the top, and I talked about this one on my last weekly analysis, but also on another video that was a long time ago. I think we were around there, and I said that this is a perfect regular flat trade, perfect true wave correction that should come and retest the top. So super good opportunity when we were somewhere in there. Now it's a little bit too late. You're waiting for a flag if you want to take it, unless you're there already from the bottom. You're looking for a flag, and if it doesn't flag, because it can sometimes not do a flag and just simply go up and break the top, then it will probably happen. But after the top is broken, be super careful, I'll get the opportunity to talk about that later on, but after the top is broken, I do think that we're gonna see a down move to complete this 3-wave correction before having an up move. But it's a long-term thing. You see, we're in 2025. It's a long-term thing, but this should come down on a downtrend before going up. So be careful for this one, as we're only trading this pattern to come and retest the top, not more. Silver, this one also, to me, it's not the same as gold. So this is a different pattern. I mean, it's a regular flat to me. This is a regular flat right there, but this should come up, break the top, and then come back down also, but it's less cleaner than gold. That's what I meant. It's less cleaner than gold, so be careful for this one. I'd wait for a setup right now. If you're not in from there for a setup, then try to retest the top. It should be the goal. So I'm waiting for this. So Tesla, there's two scenarios. The scenario for the bigger time frame, you gotta keep in mind that this is probably an impulse for a correction in the bigger time frame. That means that this is the impulse. We'll be looking for a correction. After the correction is done, we're gonna get another impulse. And when the impulse is done, we're gonna look for the impulse to continue the trend. All right, so something like this. Now, is it going to do that right now? It can also not. It can simply give a smaller correction and another push, simply to correct this move, for example, because if it's meant to go up and make a bigger correction, that means that it's correcting this move, and it can simply correct another small impulse, make a small correction. So we will have to see it and watch it in the smaller time frame, but for now, let's just expect a correction that will be bigger than this one. All right, so let's expect a correction like this and maybe another drop, and then start the reversal. All right, it's the least you can do, and if it starts to go up, then you'll probably be in the buy. So Tesla right now, look for buys. Now, is it ready to go up? Let me check, and I think it's not. All right, it could be, but I think it's not. I think you have an impulse, a correction right there, and it's gonna make another impulse. It won't break this top before going down a little deeper. So it's a running flat that I see right there, and that means that it's not ready to go up. All right, so for Tesla, look for buy setups. If you will find the buy setup, it will look like this: an impulse and a flag. All right, something similar to this is worth trying. All right, so Apple in the bigger time frame, I think it's similar to Tesla. No, it's not. It's actually, for Apple, we're in a correction that's not in that big time frame. All right, it's a correction, a normal one, just like this one. This one was a running flat, but this one is bigger, so a little bit bigger. This one was 4 hour, for example, and now we're probably in a daily correction. Now, those 2 arrows are what I'm looking for in the smaller time frame, in the bigger time frame. That means that this could be already a correction that is done. If that's a regular flat, that means that this will go up and break the top straight up. All right, and if it's not, you're gonna get this up move and then another drop before getting the actual up move. All right, that means that the regular flat will be this, and there will be a corrective part in the B wave, and that's a complex one. All right, that's a complex regular flat. So looking for buy setups right there, you get the chance to ride this to the top, but you can also take profits in this zone because of the drop and get back in somewhere in there, since this will be surely less risky to take. So for this one, look for buys, super important, and be careful. In the smaller time frame, I will check if there's anything, but I don't think so. Yeah, for example, this to me is a 3-wave correction to break the bottom one more time. So watch out, you could be breaking the bottom one more time. It's not doesn't mean it will do so, but you could if it's really a return run. So that if it's a correction, you could be breaking the low one more time, and if it's not, you're gonna see a fat impulse and a correction, and it's gonna start the trend that you're looking for. So I think this move is alone, or with this one, maybe a running flat already done, But yeah, I don't think that this could also do that. All right, if that's a bigger running flat, this could do that. But either way, it's worth trying. It's worth trying and protect yourself in this trade. I think it's worth. So look for buys. Meta, this one looks good in the smaller time frame. Let's see in the bigger time frame. All right, so in the bigger time frame, I think it's like Tesla and many others where you're looking for a correction to this drop. All right, you have this drop and you're looking for a correction. Doesn't mean the correction will be like this and will end up in there. All right, it simply means that you need a correction bigger than this one, bigger than what we've got previously, because you're probably going to correct all this move down. Now the correction could be the second move of a three-wave correction before the up move. So it's worth trying buy setup, since you can get something like this. But also you need to be careful, because if it gets too rangy like this, that means that it will drop sooner than expected. So that's why you need to be careful. All right, so this one in the smaller time frame is pretty interesting, as this is exactly what I say when I say look for an impulse and a flag. It's exactly this. You have an impulse, a flag. If you get in somewhere in there, for example, then this will probably come down and come back up and start the impulse that you're looking for, while making small correction or complex one, doesn't matter. But this will probably be the start of it, maybe a down like this and then go up. Because this is what you're looking for. You get those type of setup and you protect yourself at the top. So yeah, pretty interesting. This one is really interesting. Now Google is looking bearish. All right, bullish in the short term but bearish. I have this fractal right there because I tried to give analysis about it to a friend, but basically this is exactly what you're looking for. Google, another move up, which is this move. All right, and then this will probably drop, and after the top is broken, this will probably drop and then go back down, simply because this is a three-wave correction that we know of. It's similar to this one. This one is a little bit more complex, but both are regular flats. These are correction to come and break the bottom most of the time. So that's why looking for buys right there could be interesting. You're still riding it from $87 to close to 105, and it can be interesting, but after that you'll probably get a sell. So if you take the buy, be careful at the top. This is what will probably happen. So yeah, interesting one. Also could be it. Also Twitter. All right, so that's where I took the fractal of. This is an impulse, sorry. So this is an impulse correction, another impulse. This will probably break the top, all right, and then go back down and complete this regular flat. So I'm actually bearish in this one. Now, is it going right now? I don't think so. I see a small running flat in there. So small correction for another push up. When it will break, you will probably have the dump that you're waiting for. So this one looks bearish, and right there, perfect regular flat. For example, this one was perfect. A move, so a first drop, a retracement that comes slowly up, another drop. These are the one that I'm talking about when I do something like this. It's simply something like this, but in bigger time frame, because this is super clean. All right, so that's a regular flat. That's one of those clean regular flat. I just saw it right now, but this is what we're looking for Tesla and many others in the bigger time frame. This is what we're looking for. Now this one, looking for a small correction and then a drop probably, and at best this correction will be the start of a bigger move, all right, to come near this top. It won't retest it unless it's a running flat, one of those correction, but it can simply do something like this, be the regular flat that I just showed you, and then come back up. All right, so for this one, either a small correction, a drop before getting the actual correction that I'm talking about, or simply it starts right now. That's why every new low, look for buy setup and protect yourself. And Microsoft is all right. There is probably a running flat in there. I see this move pretty impulsive, so probably this is a running flat right there. So a move, correction, another impulse, and this completes a correction called a running flat that will come and break the bottom. All right, when the bottom is broken, you start either a new structure or a new correction. That means a new correction for another push down, or a new structure, which is the B wave that I'm talking about. So all the stocks are approximately in the same situation. That means that you're looking for the end of that first impulse down, or some are even different in terms of you're looking for an impulse. For example, I could see this one going up and breaking the top. Right now I'm not sure so, because this is not corrective enough. This is possible, but not corrective enough in my opinion. So it's better to aim for a small correction and then another drop for a bigger three-wave correction before the actual up move. So that's my thoughts about these one, and they are a little bit similar for the stocks. I think they're waiting for SNP to get that small drop, and probably that SNP is the same thing. If this drop tags this low and come back up, we'll see a different structure, something like this, but could also come back up and go up and break the top. All right, so we'll get to see it. So I think the next move for stocks is probably a drop in the majority, and it will probably happen when the market opens on Monday, simply because of that setup. Looks really clean to come and retest the low. So that's my thoughts for today's weekly analysis. Feel free to give me feedbacks about it, and leave a like and a comment if you did enjoy. And until next time, take care.